Well, you know we're going to talk about at some point this week of possible versus impossible. All things possible with God. We're going to talk about creation. Hotly contested subject. We've gotten plenty from both sides of this debate over the years. I've always been, like with politics, I'm always accused of being on the other side of what someone is. It's funny. I've been called everything on both sides in between, and same with this one, which I don't really understand why. Why can't, creation versus evolution, why can't God have created using evolution? I'm sorry, is God's action in our lives one and done? No. Why would God's creation stop after, one big bang, if you will, and, well, evolution can't happen? God's with us constantly. We're talking about God's always constantly changing things. Why couldn't God create it in this way? In fact, Scripture gives us clues of how God creates, and science is proving these clues to be true. Right? We talk about the stars in Scripture, right? I'm sure everyone's heard by now that we are stardust. That sermon was all in vogue about 6 years ago, right? Everybody and their cousin was preaching that one. But yes, that we are the same material that when stars die, blah, 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 ends up becoming organic material, and that's what we were made of. Okay, great. We know. But there's more than that in stars, right? Constantly in Scripture, God talks about the numerous stars, expansive universes, even, right? We don't even have any idea how big the universe we live in is, except for very large. We can say that. I used to, when I was doing chaplaincy training, I visited an elderly man who had been a staunch atheist his whole life, PhD, physicist, brilliant guy. We had some fun discussions, right? And he told me, I asked him, I said, he asked me, he said, if you believe God created this universe, how come we can't access most of it? I was like, well, incremental gains, we got to get there, blah, 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 blah. He said that's the one thing that has always stuck with him, even as an atheist. What a waste of space. Literally, space. What a waste of space. It wasn't there for anyone to get to. It's interesting, anyway, stars. For every star there is, there's a whole solar system around that star, right? Solar, sun is the star, okay? You think about how our universe is created. Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about this, that Earth is the perfect climate of everything having gone right to exist. And without Jupiter, that pulls in our space debris, asteroids, comets, etc., and gravitational pull, there's no way that Earth wouldn't have been hit too often to survive. That our distance from the sun allows for the perfect temperature for atmosphere to be created. We talk about we can create artificially an atmosphere on Mars, and it'll take generations to do this. We're not even certain it'll thrive. Mars' core has died. It is too small. It's being pulled away from. It is too far from the sun. We're the optimal distance away. Too close would be too hot. Too far would be too cold. A theologian, Ted Peters, professor, he talks about how creation was such a one in, I forget the number, quadrillion, quintillion, I don't even know, possibility of all the things, when you factor in all the things that had to go right. We talk about in Scripture, there's passages of God holding the earth in place. The earth is held in place by gravitational forces. Who created those forces? Those not be hands. We have lacked the ability to describe God's creation, and we still do in a lot of cases. Doesn't mean that God isn't the creator. I hate that argument. Oh, we discovered that X, Y, and Z, therefore God isn't real. No, we discovered how God has created, how God does interact. All the dinosaurs. Really? Because the Bible references multiple occasions of giant beasts walking the earth before humanity. Genesis talks about giants. Job talks about the Leviathan, these large creatures. Come on now. Don't cherry pick. Read it all. It's another great book. And of course, I'm not going to remember, just like I didn't remember yesterday, but it was like the Freakonomics of Math. It was a math professor up at UW-Madison wrote it. It'll come to me after another video, of course, but he wrote this great chapter of, are you there, God? It's me, Bayesian inference, right? Basically, he was mathematically proving that God is more likely that a God exists than not. And that's true, using the math, very advanced math. He had to walk me through in that book because I was like, oh, I only got the calculus. But yes, statistically speaking, he argues it is more likely that there is a creator than not. Because it was pure chaos. The numbers would dictate a different world than this. Too many things were not chaotic for this to work. Of course, he then also talks about more likely statistically there's more gods than one, but hey, I point Trinity. It's all that. Yeah, well, anyway, I can go on that one for a while. But my point is, with creation, right, we're talking about that's impossible. Well, no. We're finding things are possible. We understand. I look at, people talk about the God particle, made a lot of headlines, but I think more importantly, this idea of dark energy makes up a good bit of our universe. We have no idea how it works. We don't understand it. We don't even know what its purpose is, really. But God does. God made it for a reason. And we'll figure out why. And science is helping us see the tools that God used to create this universe. Artists help us explore the majesty of God's work, why it's important to care for it. Right? Scripture talks about the beauty of creation. We talk about mountains under the ocean, which sounded crazy then. We know there's mountains on the ocean, so mountains and land gets there to begin with. So yeah, just because we think that these understandings of our universe are impossible, know that they are very possible. That God created them for us to live in. That was a big one. We'll see what the rest of the week brings, huh? Whew. Have a good day.